Over the past year at college, I consider my media technology skills to have improved through research, planning, construction, and evaluation stages in my project. These technologies especially include Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign, which I also use throughout my G321 portfolio during my AS project. As previously mentioned, last year as part of my G321 portfolio, I was first introduced to the media technologies Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign. At the start of the academic year, I was therefore quite familiar with these programs. However, in some areas I needed reminding of how to use them. In my opinion, over the past year, my skills working with these technologies have developed in different aspects, such as the general look of my magazines and the conventions which it follows. I think that my previous experience of Adobe Photoshop and InDesign has allowed me to assess my time management, planning, and also research in order to develop my final product to a good standard. At the beginning of my AS course in 2014, I had little experience with the software and therefore found it difficult to use. I therefore think that since then I have improved quite a lot, as I now feel more confident when creating these projects. By the time I had finished my AS preliminary exercise, I think that my skills had somewhat developed in comparison to when I started the year, as it allowed me to practice a lot of skills which I would later be using with my G321 portfolio and my G324 advanced portfolio. This includes basic conventions of my magazine design and even applying media theory through editing and constructing, especially within the contents pages of my magazines, because before my preliminary task I had little experience with the software, and my product wasn't very professional looking as it was cluttered and the colour scheme was completely contrasting with the main image itself. However, I think that by including this exercise it allowed me to gain a feel for the programs. As well as being new to the software, I also had little experience with the hardware which we were using to construct the magazine, which is also why it looked so ineffective. Examples of hardware which we were using throughout my preliminary task include a DSLR camera, scanner and voice recorder. Because I had rarely used these pieces of equipment, I found them complicated to use and therefore didn't use them to the best of my ability, making the end result look unprofessional. However, after my main task and ancillaries, within my G324 advanced portfolio, I feel like I have gained experience with the software Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign, as I am now a lot more confident when using them to construct any work. Although I'm not the most confident user, I think I have learned a lot throughout the 2 years I've been using them, and am therefore pleased with my abilities and how I've developed. Additionally, throughout the 2 years which I have been using the software, I've learned how to use the programs in many different ways. An example of this is simply how to manipulate any images in Photoshop, even by adding a filter. I have shown this throughout my drafting skills exercise. I also think that because Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign are quite expensive, I wouldn't have been able to gain as much experience as I did with the software within this course, and it's therefore allowed me to develop my own use throughout the past 2 years. The most significant example of new media technologies which I have used is a DSLR camera and a voice recorder. So they helped me especially within the planning and construction stages of my project, as the recorder enabled me to make interactive plans and research of my work, whilst the DSLR camera allowed me to take high quality pictures for my magazine. Advantages of software. Advantages of the software Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign include how different they are to other photo editing programs. Although they are complicated and take practice to learn how to use efficiently, the end result is amazing in comparison to other photo editing softwares. The software also includes a variety of different filters and effects which can be used throughout both InDesign and Photoshop. These are especially useful when constructing a magazine because it allows it to look unique whilst also using extremely professional programs. However, there are also various disadvantages of this software, such as the price, as it's an expensive program and it would be hard to pay for if you are a student. Therefore, I must access it in college to gain experience. Also, both Adobe Photoshop and Adobe InDesign are such professional programs. They are at times complicated to use, and it may be worth researching them online with online tutorials in order to be able to perform some tasks. The hardware used included advantages of hardware. The hardware used includes a DSLR camera and a voice recorder, which was extremely significant in most tasks within my project, as they allow me to construct and plan my product efficiently. The voice recorders allowed me to plan my project in advance, making my planning videos interactive for the viewer. The DSLR cameras used are very professional and offered a wide range of effects in order to improve my photos for my magazine. Because of the quality of my photographs, I think it allowed my magazine to look more professional and the design more unique. Disadvantages of hardware. Overall, I find it quite hard to think of any disadvantages with the hardware used, except I did not own any of my own, and therefore had to borrow them from the college. This, however, didn't cause any problems, as I will also be able to book them out in advance to ensure I was able to use them. Also, because I was so new to them, it took me a while to get used to them. However, I gained confidence as the course developed.